why do you think so? What's your proof? Especially with science and math, even in literature and English, why do you think that's the answer? This promote thinking skills as well. So we want, Douglas will drive us through this.
All right, so yeah, this is real helpful. It can be very helpful with science, showing evidence for conclusions you're coming up to. Math, the project we did was math modeling of something that we see in nature, and of course in English you can use it for things like debate, etc. So do I need to show them how to get into it? Or just show them what it is? Okay, so you go into the workspace and then you can sign into it. You can figure out how to get into it, basically. Just create a new project, etc. But what we had set up is this. Basically, you go in and you set up your own, as the teacher, your username, etc. And then you create groups. And so I created 2 groups. I created Team Physics, which is grade providing.
So we have 2 groups now, not both of them.
And then I also created Team Math, which is me and Omar, which, of course, as a teacher, I wouldn't be in the group, but gives you the idea of what's going on. I didn't have the time to figure out exactly how everything works, but basically what happens is I'm logged in as a teacher now, so because they're logged in, I can only view it. But what they did was they came in, I set up the project, and the name of the project was Daytime Hours Function. And the question is the daylight variation throughout the year best described by a sine function? If so, how? So in other words, basically what we're trying to decide is the length of day in the year. It's getting longer until the summer, and then it's until the summer solstice, and then it's getting shorter until the winter solstice. Well, how do we describe how much the light is increasing or decreasing throughout the year? And so, Team Physics, they answered by saying no. It's not described by a sine function. Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here. A sine function, if you've forgotten, looks like this. So,
I never really learned it.
toward the summer, the variation in the amount of daylight hours is very small. And then the amount of daylight is going down very quickly through most of the year until the winter when it kind of troughs out.
What you prefer?
Huh? Well, we're just examining the project right now. But he said no, it's best described by a linear function, which is more like this. So the light is increasing until the summer, and then it immediately starts downward into winter. And so basically what he did was he went in and he entered this into his claim, and he said that the graph would be more clear to see the variation. This is a clearer description, he felt like.
This is going to need to be proved.
Right. So this was my question. I was prompting them. Maybe I was giving them the right answer. Maybe I was tricking them into thinking it's the wrong. And so I want them to come up with their own claim, either matching this one or their own claim, and then just explaining why they feel that way. And then here is where they come over and there's a place for them to add evidence. And
did you make the evidence as a teacher, or did they?
No, they make the evidence. Yeah. All I did was I just set up this part here.
Okay.
And then he went in and put the claim, the explanation, Team Math. If I went into it, he's using a different claim.
Okay.
And explanation. And so they come in to this area here, and it will open up a prompt, and it says, give your support. And you type it in. Yes.
So these are students' responses.
Yes.
And you are now in your page.
I'm in my page viewing what the students have done. So I've gone into group Team Physics page to see what they've done. And if they weren't logged in now, I could go down to the bottom and type in comments of what I had to feedback, etc. about it down.
What are the
Down here at the bottom.
okay. What can I ask? What
Yeah.
if you haven't explored it enough? That's fine. What are those checks and pluses and minuses?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to explain that.
Okay.
So when they go into the evidence,
Sorry.
they put their different things. For example, he put it's best described by a linear function, and he put the because, if I click on this,
How many
Oh.
support that, like, support that.
Okay. This is basic.
so if you click on this comment, you can see what they actually had to put in. It says, the daylight is constantly increasing, constantly without change, from winter to summer, and constantly decreasing from summer to winter. So that was his explanation, and then he comes down here and he gives a source, and his source is the newspaper Prayer Times. So he looks at Fajr and Maghrib, and he looks at the times from winter and summer, and he sees from the summer that they're always getting closer to each other, and then after the winter solstice, they're always getting further away.
Can students attach an article or a document?
That maybe they can, yeah, because it has a link here.
Yes.
So then they come here for the quality rating, and they click and they put the number of checks.
So they choose how strong they feel that.
How
evidence
strong.
is.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And then if they want, I didn't have enough time to, they can write why they think this is such good evidence. Then, after they've done that, they can take this, which is, up until this point, they've only typed here. They can take this and drag it over here. Notice this is the green area, this is the red area. And this supports what he wants to say. So he'll move this over here, put it in the green area,
That supports.
and it gives him another option here where he can say how much this supports his claim. This is saying how sure the evidence is, how strong the evidence is. This is saying how much it supports what he wants it to support.
Right.
Then here he has another piece of evidence, and if I clicked on it, you would see this says there is no daylight for much of the winter on the poles. And so if the daylight's increasing from 0, then the first day there should be some daylight, but there's not. So he's kind of confused.
So yeah.
This doesn't seem to match.
That suggests a sine curve.
He put low support because he doesn't really know much about the poles, but down here he put low against just simply because he doesn't really understand
Right.
the whole idea very much. And so he took this and he dragged it down here. And then this was the part I was confused about. Maybe you can help us with. If another team, if I assign another team to review, do I give them this team's project to go into? And I'm not real sure how to do that.
I think if you want students to review that, you should authorize them, because there will be 3 or 4 groups. If you want a group to, either you stay here, so they can get better feedback, because at the same time, we don't want students only just focus on computer, but they want also to have a kind of communication, so if you can split it into teams. Another thing, I think there is option where the students can review other projects and comment.
Okay.
And
Okay. Maybe I didn't see that.
One more thing, I think all those teachers, I think you can save this to your, which is very important.